My boyfriend accidentally sent me screenshots of him cheating while texting me about what kind of ring I wanted. 1 second, he was talking about diamonds. The next, I was staring at a photo of him in someone else's bed, with my name still in the message header. What came next wasn't a breakup, it was a carefully orchestrated takedown. Now his friends won't even look him in the eye. His mom texts me on holidays, and his sister said I deserve better. Let me back up. We were 3 years in. Comfortable, cozy, real. Sunday mornings with blueberry pancakes and messy hair. Random forehead kisses while waiting for coffee to brew. He called me his person, and I genuinely thought we were building something real. His name was Miles. He had this soft voice, always 2 notches calmer than the room, and eyes that made you want to confess things you hadn't even admitted to yourself yet. When we met at a friend's bonfire, he handed me a burnt marshmallow, smiled, and said, "This is what falling in love tastes like." Cheesy? Sure. But it worked. By year 2, we'd moved in together. A tiny 1-bedroom with squeaky pipes, fairy lights above the bed, and a fridge that made terrifying noises after midnight. I loved it. I loved us. But looking back, there were cracks. Tiny ones. Like the way he never posted me on his Instagram. "I just like keeping my private life private," he said. Or how he always angled his phone screen away when we sat next to each other. Or how he once called me Mina in his sleep. My name is not Mina. Still, I brushed it off, because love makes you stupid. And I was in it. Fast forward to last Tuesday, I was at work, on my lunch break, eating sad, leftover Thai food. At my desk, my phone buzzed. It was from Miles, just a regular message. Or so I thought. He wrote, "Thinking about proposing soon. What kind of ring do you like?" My heart stopped. Literally, I gasped so loud that Kristen from 2 cubicles down popped her head over and said, "Girl, you good?" I stared at the message. That little fleshed emoji. The word proposing. It felt surreal. I smiled. I actually smiled like a dummy. I was still floating when a couple minutes later another message popped up. But it wasn't meant for me. It was a screenshot of him in bed, shirtless, smirking, with someone else's leg wrapped over his. The text under it? "Last night got wild. She still thinks I'm gonna propose." My name was still at the top of the message thread. He meant to send that to someone else, but he sent it to me. The message vanished 5 seconds later. But that was all I needed. The image were already seared into my mind. My stomach dropped so fast I swear I felt the floor move. My hands started shaking. I stared at the deleted message for 2 minutes, hoping it was some kind of sick joke. I didn't cry. My pad thai turning cold while the taste in my mouth went metallic. He was planning to propose, while actively cheating on me. And now, thanks to one glorious, universe-delivered mistake, I had proof. I didn't respond right away. I wanted to. Every nerve in my body was screaming to go full scorched earth. But instead, I just locked my phone, took a shaky breath, and forced myself to finish my lunch like nothing happened. Because if Miles could play pretend, so could I. I spent the rest of the afternoon in full-blown strategist mode, barely hearing anything my manager said in the budget meeting. My brain was sprinting in 2 directions, one half processing the betrayal, the other planning the kind of revenge that would leave a mark. I mean, what kind of idiot sends a screenshot of his own cheating to his girlfriend? A Miles kind of idiot. When I got home that night, I acted completely normal, genuinely Oscar-worthy. He was sitting on the couch in sweatpants, playing FIFA like nothing happened. He looked up and smiled at me with those same stupid soft eyes. "Hey babe," he said casually. "How was work?" I smiled. "Pretty standard," I said, hanging my bag on the hook. "Oh, and guess what? One of my coworkers got engaged." The ring was massive. He paused the game. "Really?" he said with a weird little smirk. I nodded, sitting on the arm of the couch. "Yeah. Cushion cut, halo setting. So classy. I always thought if someone proposed to me, that's what I'd want. Just saying." He blinked, just for a second, probably wondering if I'd seen the message. But I just tilted my head and kissed his cheek. "Anyway, I'm gonna shower." As soon as I was in the bathroom, door locked, I turned the water on and the fan, then slid to the floor. My chest felt like it had caved in. I didn't cry. I shook, like my body was vibrating with all the things I couldn't say. I remembered message under the photo. "Last night got wild. She still thinks I'm gonna propose." It wasn't just the cheating. It was the humiliation. The mockery. He thought I was a joke. And worse, he thought he was too smart to get caught. Then mid-shower it hit me. The CCTV cameras. The ones my mom had insisted on installing. Just in case. I lunged for my laptop. Water still dripping as I frantically pulled up the footage. And there it was. The exact moment the message flashed on screen. Perfectly preserved in cold, pixelated proof. I changed my phone background to that screenshot, just for motivation. Then, I took screenshots of everything. That message. his past messages, a photo of us from last weekend, where he captioned it, "My whole world." I organized it into a neat little folder. I wasn't going to scream, I was going to ruin him. But I needed a plan. A slow burn. Something unforgettable. And that's when the idea hit me. If he was going to pretend to propose, I was going to help him do it. In public. In front of everyone. With friends, family, and maybe even a hidden camera or two. He wanted an audience? I'd give him the performance of a lifetime. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I laid in bed next to him, pretending to drift off, while my mind stitched together every last detail of my plan, like some deranged Pinterest board of revenge. Every snore from his side of the bed made my skin crawl. But I waited. I played my part. Because if this was going to work, I needed him comfortable. I needed him to believe I was still the clueless, love-struck girlfriend he thought he'd outsmarted. And trust me, Miles wasn't just gonna fall. He was gonna crash. The next morning, I set the stage. While we were making breakfast eggs and toast like always, I casually brought up my best friend Tasha. Specifically, how she'd just gotten engaged. She said she had no idea it was coming, I said, sipping my coffee, like it wasn't hiding betrayal-flavored bitterness. He took her to this vineyard, and there was a photographer hiding in the bushes. Miles looked up from his plate, fork halfway to his mouth. "Oh yeah?" he asked, cautious. "Yeah," I said, smiling sweetly. I always thought something like that would be so cinematic, you know? With friends nearby, maybe a private dinner after. Just magical. He nodded, not quite making eye contact. "Yeah, sounds dope." I wanted to laugh. Dope? That was his response to the woman he was allegedly going to propose to? But instead, I just said, "Anyway, I'm gonna be at Tasha's all day. Girls' day. Don't wait up," he grunted. "Cool." As soon as I got in my car, I called Tasha. No greeting. Just, he cheated. I have receipts, and I'm planning the most satisfying takedown you've ever seen. There was a pause. Then, "Oh, girl, say less. Where do we start?" Now, you need to understand, Tasha is ride or die. This woman helped me move out of my ex's apartment in under 2 hours and once faked a fainting spell so I could sneak out of a party. She was born for this. We met at her place with a whiteboard, coffee, and the shared rage of every woman who's ever been lied to with a smile. Step 1. Get him to commit to a proposal. Tasha, you need him to think you're still into this. He has to want to propose, or at least pretend to, before we spring the trap. Me. He already started. Remember the text? Tasha. Then push it. Make it seem like you're hoping he'll do it soon. Urgency pressure. So that's what I did. Over the next few days, I subtly fed the fantasy. I showed him ring styles on Instagram. I talked about venues we'd driven past. I even let it slip that my mom was hinting about grandkids, and he ate it up, smiling, kissing my forehead, playing the role of devoted boyfriend like he deserved a trophy for it. But here's the kicker. He started actually shopping for a ring. I found the tab open on his laptop when he went to shower. Not just browsing. A legit online cart with a halo cushion-cut ring the exact style I'd mentioned the other day. Miles was leaning into the lie so hard, he didn't even see the cliff. Perfect. All I had to do now was let him propose. Because what happens after? Well, let's just say the cameras will be rolling. 2 weeks. That's how long I had to fake it. 2 weeks of soft smiles, forehead kisses, and pretending I wasn't counting the days until I could rip the illusion out from under him like a magician with a vengeance. And the thing is, he got cocky. Once he thought I was still all in, Miles started acting like the perfect boyfriend again. Making dinner, sending flowers to my office, even telling my dad over FaceTime that he had big plans soon. I almost gagged. I played along. I let him script his little fantasy. And every time I looked into his lying eyes, I thought about that screenshot, the girl's leg, the smirk, that message. She still thinks I'm gonna propose. Not only did I still think it, I was actively helping him plan it. See, Tasha and I had made another list, one that started with, "Let him propose." Record the whole thing. Expose him in front of everyone. But the best part? I was gonna let him pick the date, give him all the rope he needed to hang himself. The opportunity came faster than I expected. One night, I walked into the apartment after dinner with Tasha and found him grinning like a Labrador who just ate a sock. "I booked us a weekend trip," he said. "Cabin upstate. Just us. You've been so stressed lately I thought you could use a reset." I blinked. Was this it? A cabin? Middle of nowhere? No witnesses? No, that wouldn't work. I needed an audience. So I tilted my head and said, "That's so sweet, but you know what would be amazing? Remember Claire and Jordan's engagement party at that rooftop bar downtown? I've always dreamed of something like that. Something magical and shared. Doesn't have to be big. Just people who love us." He hesitated. I saw the flicker of panic behind his eyes. But Miles loved being the hero, the center of attention. And when I added, My mom's been dropping not so subtle hints that she misses you. He took the bait. 3 days later, he told me, so, random idea. What if we had a little get-together next weekend? Just friends, family, chill vibes. Maybe at that rooftop place you liked? I smiled, nodded, kissed him softly. Inside, I was screaming, got you. Tasha and I got to work immediately. We rented out a space through a mutual friend, one, with a built-in speaker system, soft lighting, and a wraparound balcony with a skyline view. He thought I was helping coordinate for his surprise. In reality, I was booking a videographer and handing out NDAs like candy. I invited everyone, my friends, my family, his mom, and of course, the girl from the screenshot. How? Easy. I hired a freelancer who upscaled my image to perfect quality. I reverse image searched her leg tattoo, found her Instagram and messaged her from a burner account. She didn't know she was invited to her own funeral yet, but she would. Miles was about to get everything he asked for. A proposal, an audience, and a memory that would haunt him for the rest of his miserable life. Let him propose. I was ready. The morning of the proposal, I woke up calm, like eerily calm. Not the kind of calm that says nothing's wrong, but the kind your body gives you when it knows you're about to do something life-altering. The kind of calm, right before a storm, levels the whole city. Miles, of course, was jittery. He kept adjusting his stupid button up in the mirror and asking if the hem of his jeans looked too formal. I just kept humming to myself while curling my hair like I wasn't planning to emotionally set fire to this man's life in front of 30 people. You look beautiful, he said, coming up behind me and wrapping his arms around my waist. I met his eyes in the mirror, my smile soft. So do you. If he noticed the edge in my voice, he didn't say anything. The party was set for 7 p.m. at the rooftop bar. I told him I loved, which I did, until this night tainted it forever in the best possible way. It had twinkly lights, a skyline view, and that perfect mix of chill and chaotic. It screamed engagement party gone wrong. Tasha was already there when we arrived, acting like she didn't know the plan, but texting me real-time updates like, "Girl, the leg tattoo is here. She's at the bar, ordering a vodka soda. She brought a friend? And your mom is talking to Miles' mom. This is either going to be beautiful or a disaster. Or both." Everyone we loved, and a few people we very much didn't, were gathered with cocktails in hand and big, expectant smiles. And Miles? He looked like a man ready to be crowned husband of the year. It was laughable. As the night wore on, I let him lead, let him thank guests for coming, let him beam with fake gratitude while playing host like a well-rehearsed con man. And then it happened. He tapped his glass with a fork. That signature ting-ting-ting sound that says everyone shut up, something important is about to go down. People turned. Phones came out. The music softened. I swear even the wind paused. Miles took my hand. "I know this is a little unexpected," he began, all soft-eyed and emotional. "But sometimes, when you find the person who makes your life better every single day, you don't want to wait." I blinked slowly, let a single fake tear pool in the corner of my eye. Tasha later said it was Oscar-worthy. He reached into his pocket. "I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life making you as happy as you make me. So, baby," he got down on one knee. "Will you marry me?" Silence. Everyone watching, holding their breath, and I smiled. That same soft, chilling smile I'd practiced in the mirror. Then I reached into my own purse and pulled out my phone. "I'd love to," I said, voice steady. "But first," I tapped the screen. The projector behind us lit up, yes, a literal projector, and displayed the screenshot. The one with the girl in his bed. Her leg. His smug face. Last night got wild. She still thinks I'm gonna propose, gasps. A few gasps turned into murmurs. A hand clapped over someone's mouth. One of his friends said, "Oh my God." Miles was frozen, still on one knee, looking up at me like his entire brain had just rebooted. And I leaned in, gently tucked a strand of hair behind his ear and whispered, "You should have deleted the message, babe." For a second, just 1 second, you could have heard a pin drop. Miles was still kneeling, ring box in hand, frozen, like someone hit pause on his entire life. Behind him, on the projector screen in HD glory, was his betrayal. That cursed screenshot. His smirk. Her leg. And then, the chaos cracked open. "Oh hell no," someone shouted. Pretty sure it was Tasha. And then suddenly, voices exploded around the rooftop. Whispers. Gasps. One guy actually spit his drink back into his cup, like he was in a teen rom-com. Someone in the back let out an uncomfortable, high-pitched laugh that got immediately shushed. Miles finally moved, slowly standing up, mouth opening and closing like a fish caught in headlights. Wait, he stammered. "This isn't what it looks like." I tilted my head, still holding the mic like I was giving a maid of honor speech from hell. "Oh?" "Because it looks exactly like what it is. You cheating, bragging, mocking me, while shopping for a ring I was never supposed to wear." Gasps. Again. Honestly, I was kind of proud of how well the crowd was responding. 10 engagement, if you will. But then, the best part, leg tattoo girl stepped forward. Yep, her. Tan. Tall. Wearing a strappy red dress and that exact same toe ring from the photo. She'd been sipping her vodka soda in a quiet corner all night, probably thinking she'd slink in and out unnoticed. Not tonight, sweetheart. Miles, she hissed, eyes wide. You told me you broke up with her. The silence after that? Deafening. He looked like he might puke. I looked at her, expression blank. Oh, honey, I said calmly. If you're waiting for me to fight you, you're going to be waiting a long time. I'm not mad at you. I'm just done. Miles tried to reach for my arm, like that would somehow fix this. Please, we can talk. Let's go somewhere private. Number I pulled back. You made this public. I'm finishing it public. Then I turned to the crowd. I just want to say thank you to everyone who came tonight. I know this wasn't the proposal you expected, but I hope it was at least entertaining. A few people clapped. Actually clapped. And that was the moment I realized I wasn't sad. I wasn't humiliated. I was free. Miles looked shattered. His face was red. His eyes were bouncing between me, the screen, and leg tattoo girl, who had fully turned and walked away. One of his buddies muttered, "Dude," and shook his head before disappearing into the crowd. Then Tasha appeared by my side, took the mic from my hand, and raised her glass. "To new beginnings," she said, eyes glittering. And I, without looking back, walked off that rooftop, with my head held so high, I swear I could have touched the stars. Behind me, Miles was still holding that stupid ring box. It took exactly 6 minutes for my phone to blow up. I hadn't even made it to the elevator before the texts started rolling in. People I hadn't talked to in months were suddenly in my DMs like, "OMG girl, are you okay?" And that was iconic. One person even sent a crying laughing emoji and just wrote, "Legend." Meanwhile, Miles? He was still on that rooftop, surrounded by the ashes of his fake fairy tale, and the very real debris of his own ego. Honestly, I hope the projector stayed on, long after I left, just looped that screenshot like a PowerPoint of shame. Tasha and I jumped in an Uber, her heels already off, both of us high on adrenaline and disbelief. "I can't believe you actually did it," she said, grinning like a proud mom watching her kid win an Olympic gold in emotional warfare. "Me neither," I admitted, leaning my head back against the seat. "But I've never felt lighter." She handed me her phone, showing me a video someone had posted. Yep, the whole thing. Miles kneeling. Me exposing him. The moment. It was already climbing views, tagged with things like proposal gone wrong, cheater reveal, and my personal favorite leg tattoo drama. I muted my phone, let the chaos simmer without me. But not for long. The next morning, I woke up to 15 missed calls from Miles, 7 texts. "Please talk to me. You blindsided me. We can fix this if you just stop being dramatic." Dramatic, you know what's dramatic? Proposing to someone you're actively cheating on. But sure, I'm the problem. I didn't respond. Just blocked the number. Again. But here's where it gets real wild. That afternoon, as I was making avocado toast and trying to pretend I hadn't just gone viral on TikTok, there was a knock at my door. I checked the peephole. It was Miles' mom. Yeah, his mom. I opened the door cautiously. She looked distraught. Puffy eyes, wrinkled blouse, holding a Tupperware container, like she wasn't sure if this was a visit or a peace offering. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, her voice thin. "Do you have a moment?" I stepped aside without a word, unsure where this was going. She sat on my couch and held the Tupperware like it was her emotional support casserole. "I don't want to defend him," she started, "but I do want to say I'm sorry. For everything." I blinked. "You have nothing to apologize for." Tears filled her eyes. "I raised him better than that. Or I thought I did." She told me she found out everything after the rooftop, that Miles came home in full meltdown mode, trying to spin it like I had set him up, like he was the victim. But apparently, the video had already reached family group chats. Even Grandma saw it. Let's just say, she wasn't buying his story. "He messed up," she said simply. "Bad. But I saw the way you handled it. With grace. And a little fire." She set the Tupperware on my coffee table. "Lasagna." I didn't know what else to do. We sat in silence for a moment before she added quietly, "I always hoped you'd be my daughter-in-law. But honestly, you deserve better than him." I didn't expect to cry, but I did. Not sobbing, not hysterical, just one of those quiet, soul-cleansing tears that feels like the closing of a chapter. She left, not long after. No drama, no defense, just honesty, regret, and lasagna. And as I stood at the door, watching her walk away, I felt something shift. For the first time in months, maybe years, I wasn't waiting for someone to choose me. I had already chosen myself. By Monday morning, the group chats were on fire. Apparently, someone had uploaded the video to TikTok with a full-blown narration over it like a true crime documentary, complete with dramatic piano music. The caption? POV, you find out your boyfriend is cheating when he proposes, and you expose him in front of everyone. Justice for her proposal fail leg tattoo lady. It had over 2 million views by lunchtime. And Miles? Oh, Miles was spiraling. I know because one of his friends, Dave, the only decent one, started forwarding me the damage control texts Miles was sending in their group chat. She totally ambushed me. This was supposed to be private. She made it a spectacle for clout. Clout? Sir, your betrayal was projected onto a screen larger than your emotional maturity. Still, I stayed silent. No comments, no follow-ups, no rebuttals. Because the more he panicked, the more everyone else saw the truth. But then came the next twist. Miles posted a video, a straight-to-camera, dimly lit, dramatic sigh-heavy non-apology, where he said, and I quote, "I just want to say I never meant to hurt anyone. I'm not perfect. Relationships are complicated, and sometimes people make mistakes. But putting someone on blast publicly? That's not love either. That's not love either, you guys." He tried to both sides cheating. The comment section? Brutal. Top liked comment. You're mad she posted receipts after you posted her to the streets. Second top. You humiliated her in private. She responded with art. But there were still a few defenders, strangers, and a few people from his circle trying to spin it like I went too far. That I should have handled it privately. That women are so vindictive these days. Because catching a cheater in 4K and choosing not to cry in a corner is too much now? So I did what any self-respecting woman would do when the narrative starts slipping. I dropped a calm, classy clapback. Just one post. No rage. No names. Just a carousel on Instagram with a photo of me at the rooftop, mid-smile, a boomerang of Tasha and me clinking glasses, and a blurry still of the projector with the caption visible. The final slide was a black screen with white text. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Thanks for the lessons. I don't accept apologies wrapped in excuses. Mike, drop. Within 30 minutes, it had more likes than any post I'd ever made. My DMs turned into a war zone of support. Old classmates, girls I barely knew. Even his ex. Yes, his ex sent me a voice note saying, "I wish I'd done what you did. Thank you for doing it for all of us." That's when I realized this wasn't just my story anymore. It was every woman who's ever been lied to and made to feel like she was crazy for noticing. And I was no longer ashamed. I was the warning label on every guy who thinks he's untouchable. I thought that would be the end of it. I got my truth. I reclaimed my story. The internet did what the internet does. And for once, it was on my side. I was ready to move on. But apparently, Miles wasn't. Because 3 days after my Instagram post, he showed up. Again. This time, at my job. It was around 4 p.m., and I was coming back from my break. Iced chai in hand, brain half-fried from spreadsheets and passive-aggressive emails. I walked through the lobby like normal until I saw him, sitting in one of the guest chairs by reception, wearing a sad little button-up, holding a literal manila folder like we were in a courtroom drama. I stopped cold. He stood up when he saw me. "Hey," he said. Soft. Too soft. Like we were old friends bumping into each other at Target. I turned to the receptionist. "I'm gonna take a quick break." She nodded slowly, eyes darting between us like she already knew this was going to be a scene. I led him outside. The sun was too bright. My pulse too loud. "Make it quick," I said, arms crossed. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were bloodshot, and his hair looked like he hadn't run products through it in a week. "Good. I had to say this to your face," he said. "The way it all came out. The video, the comments. I know I deserve it. I know I messed up." I said nothing. "I didn't think you'd really leave," he continued, voice cracking. "Not like that. Not in front of everyone. I thought you'd forgive me." I actually laughed, out loud. "You thought I'd forgive you? After you bragged about cheating while shopping for a ring?" He swallowed. "It wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that," I snapped, finally letting the ice crack just a little. "You thought I'd play the part. You thought I'd cry quietly and still say yes." He looked away, shame creeping up his neck. Then he held out the folder. I printed out some of our pictures, stuff from the past 3 years. I figured, I don't know, maybe you'd want to remember the good times. I stared at the folder like it might catch fire in his hands. "No," I said. "I remember the girl I was during those times. And I love her. But those aren't good memories anymore. You don't get to rewrite them as some tragic love story where you're the misunderstood lead." He nodded slowly. "So that's it?" "That's it." He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something else. Maybe another excuse, maybe a final plea. But I turned and walked back inside before he could. And this time, I didn't look back. Later that night, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "He really screwed up. You didn't deserve any of it. I'm glad you stood up for yourself." It was his sister, Apparently she'd seen the video, seen everything, and she'd unfollowed him the same night. He's always been good at pretending, she wrote. But I saw the way you looked at him. You meant it. He never deserved you. I cried after that. Not out of sadness, but because someone finally said it. He didn't deserve me.